Hello Cancers, and welcome to your mid-month July 2021 check-in. Be sure to check out your sun, moon, and rising signs for a more well-rounded perspective for this general reading. Also, I am doing an extended version to this reading, and it will be available as a link in the description box below if you should be interested in that. All right, let's go ahead and begin. We are starting with the Justice card. So, as we move through the end of the month, we're closing the month, and this feels like it's all over the course as far as those last couple weeks of July. So it's different for different ones of you. It does feel like it's heavily in the middle of that. So the bulk of you, it's in the middle of the last 2 weeks of the month. But something's going to finally come. Justice is going to be served. Let's just get right straight to the point. There seems like there's a legal something or other, or something that feels as important as a legal matter. So sometimes there are things that are events or that are in our lives on a regular basis that there might not be legalities to it, but it has the same sort of frequencies of importance. And whatever this is the energy from this particular card. There's an overall sense that justice is finally going to come to pass, finally going to come to fruition. So again, this feels, it's like, for all of you, for the people who are watching this, as far as this is concerned, it can be any time during the last 2 weeks. There's definitely a cluster of energy at the middle of the 2 weeks, but honestly, it really does kind of spread out. So it depends on your personal situation as to when, but it will be the end of the month and closing of the month of July. We also have the Two of Rods. So there's a decision that's going to come as a result of this. Whatever this is that is finally going to come to a close, and you feel like things have been tipped, the scales have been tipped back into the proper balance that allows there to be equality and justice to be served. It's then going to open up the pathway to be able to make a decision that you have been waiting for. So there's been a hesitancy, there's been a pause, there's just been an overall feeling of patience and waiting to take action based on waiting for this to come to a close. Whatever the situation or scenario is, when this finally comes to close, the clarity on what it is that you're supposed to do next is going to come. The clarity on the choice that you're supposed to make and the action that you're supposed to follow through with is finally going to come through whenever this comes to a close, whenever this kind of finishes in its detail or completes. You're going to finally have that liberation and clarity of thought to be able to make a decision, to make a choice. Not necessarily start the action right away. The first step of the action is to choose whatever it is that you need to choose. And you're finally going to feel that position of stability and empowerment to make the choice that you've been longing to make, but you haven't quite felt like you could quite yet. That's finally going to show itself, reveal itself. Now, this particular, the Two of Rods energy does feel very, very strongly towards the end of the month. So no matter where you experience the justice energy in those last couple weeks of the month of July, the Two of Rods, that overall sense of feeling stable and empowered as a result of this event coming to a close, that is very much heavily at the end of the month as a whole. Finally, we have sunset, joy, pleasure, and laughter. This word sunset is what's really kind of resonating, really coming through. And again, I feel like this is validating and enhancing that message of the Two of Rods, how the justice coming to a completion, how it's going to give you a good sense of stability and empowerment. And like I said, it's going to come to the end of the month. And so overall, it's going to give you the ability to feel like the month of July is ending with a beautiful sunset, ending with a beautiful ending. And as a result of it, there's just an overall sense of joy, an overall sense of that peaceful joy, not so much the happy, skipping, jumping, giddy, childlike joy, but more of that inner calm sort of joy that you have when you look at a sunset, that peaceful happiness that you feel when you look at something like a sunset. So this is the overall energy of the ending of the month of July. And like I said, the justice aspect of it, it's kind of up for grabs as far as you and your personal frequency, if personal vibrations and what you're living in as far as when it's going to happen. But the bulk of you, no matter when this happens, you're going to feel a sense of self-confidence and decision-making clarity. And as a result of it, you're ending the month with this overall sense of calming peace and joy. The kind of ending that allows you to be able to feel like you can eventually finally relax and finally get a good night's sense of sleep. And know that the next day you can start fresh and energized and what have you. All right. Cancer, that is all I have for you for the mid-month check-in. If you would like to go ahead and watch the extended reading, like I said, there is a link in the description box below for that for a small fee. Other than that, that is all I have for you. I hope this reading has been everything that you were hoping for and more. Hopefully, I will see you in the month of August.